Hey everyone, it's Cashew. Today we're in Columbus, Ohio at the James Thurber house. This is not Thurber's childhood home, but it is the house he lived in shortly before going to OSU. It has some very interesting artifacts that belong to him and a lot of information, so let's go check it out. Our story starts actually back there. And here's a Thurber-inspired cookie jar. And this is the living room. Before going to OSU, Thurber's family moved at least 10 times. They've done an excellent job restoring the house to look like it did originally. This room has some really beautiful mission-style furniture in it, and also has some information about Thurber and his life. Here's the gift shop. Here's a collection of some of the books they sell of Thurber's. This is a nice drawing. Okay, let's go up the stairs and see the second floor. Even though everything in here is not original to the Thurber family, they have done a great job of getting pieces that are from the period. This was Thurber's parents' bedroom, and now this room holds items that actually belong to Thurber. In an interview, John Lennon said that his drawing style was influenced by Thurber, and if you compare John's work with Thurber's, I think you can agree. This is one of the devices that Thurber used to help him draw and write. When he was a child, he had an arrow pierce his eye, and then eventually he began losing vision in both of his eyes. Hopefully you can see through the glare. This is a photo of Thurber drawing using that device I just showed you. This is Thurber's camera and a photo of him with his camera. Here's a pair of his glasses and one of the items he used to help draw. This is an antique chair from the period. Here's an original drawing by Thurber of a dog. Some scholars have said as he got older, he became more cantankerous and enjoyed the company of dogs more than the company of people. And I think this New Yorker cover from 1946 might prove that. This photo is a reference to something that Thurber once wrote about, claiming that there was a ghost in the stairwell. Because it's a non-profit organization, they have to include their office space in with the house. And this was Thurber's bedroom. You can almost imagine Thurber sitting here writing his stories. In Thurber's bedroom closet, visiting authors are often asked to sign their name on the wall. And here are some photos of dogs that Thurber owned when he was a child. This is probably Muggs that Thurber wrote about in the short story The Dog That Bit People. In the story, Thurber writes how the dog bit everybody in the family except his mother, and seemed to like James the least. Muggs had a tendency to bite strangers as well, and every Christmas his mother would bake cookies and give them to everyone that Muggs bit. And as the years went by, the list of people she had to bake cookies for got larger and larger. Here's another room in the house that's been used for office space. Here's some really cool bandanas with Thurber's artwork on it. This is great. This is a Thurber bobblehead with his dog Muggs. This is the attic where the grandparents used to sleep, but now this is where the artists in residence stay. This is Thurber with Christabel, one of his dogs. And here's the bathroom. And up on the wall are autographed photos of writers who have given lectures here. Oh look, the Penguin himself was here, Burgess Meredith. Okay, let's go downstairs and I'll show you the kitchen. It's part kitchen, part office space. Here's the sculpture garden they have at the side of the house. It has sculptures of dogs that were drawn by Thurber. And across the street from the Thurber house is a statue depicting a character from one of Thurber's stories, a unicorn in the garden. Okay, before we leave Columbus, there's one more Thurber-related site I'd like to show you. And this is what I want to show you before we leave Columbus. The grave of James Thurber. If you notice on the headstone, there's a carving of a flower wilted. This is a depiction of a story he wrote called The Last Flower. And if you haven't read it, you should. It's as poignant now as it was when it was originally published. It was said the last year of Thurber's life, he had very erratic behavior. And he attended a party hosted by Noel Coward and was taken back to his room at the Algonquin Hotel and was stricken with a blood clot to the brain and required emergency surgery. A few weeks later, he died from complications of pneumonia. When I was at the Thurber house, the lady there told me there was some controversy about Thurber's burial here. He wanted to be cremated, but his family wanted him to be buried, so there was a compromise, and Thurber was cremated, and his remains are buried here. The writer Truman Capote tells a story that when he worked at the New Yorker, the same time Thurber was there, that Thurber was very unkind to him and treated him as if he was an office boy. And one of the jobs that Capote had to do was to pick Thurber up during the day when he was having affairs with women. And part of Capote's job was to help Thurber get dressed because he was virtually blind by then. And because of Thurber's treatment toward him, Capote decided he'd get back at him, and when he was dressing him, put his socks on reversed. So when he got home, his wife realized that he had been undressed sometime during the day. Well, I hope you found that interesting. One of the things that strikes me with a lot of humorous people like Thurber and Al Capp is that even though they wrote humorous stories and did humorous drawings, they had a tendency to be a bit melancholy and even cantankerous. So, very interesting what goes beyond the surface, isn't it? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so by clicking the subscribe button down below. And be sure to ring the bell icon. You'll be notified when I have new videos. Until next time, this is Cashew signing off. And next to Thurber's grave is this really great sculpture of someone who apparently was an avid fisherman. And check out his hat, it looks like a deer stalker.